Well, the job market right now is completely insane, guys. And I see a lot of people that are applying for hundreds of jobs. They're getting no callbacks, no interviews. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, you're not crazy. The job market is really, really rough right now. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, right now, the average duration of unemployment is about 24 weeks. And I'll tell you what, most people don't have 6, 7, 8 months worth of emergency fund setting up. If you're out of a job, you got to find new work, and it's tough. AI is eating up a lot of the positions. Companies are freezing hiring. So what do? How do you actually get hired? How do you even get an interview to get hired? Today, we're going to cover some of the main reasons, some of the main problems that you might be seeing, and we're also going to talk about some potential solutions that can help you get out of this. Because the reality is, I just don't think that people are necessarily talking about this enough. And frankly, on this channel, I talk a lot about side hustles and implementing AI, and I think all of that's important. You want to prepare, but what do you do if you're already looking for work? And I want to kind of dig into this a little bit more today. Again, the purpose of this channel is to help men like you be relevant, respected, financially free in a world that's being completely transformed by AI. So let's get down to the first problem. The first problem is probably your approach to getting noticed. In the past, you might go to Indeed or fill out a few applications, you get a resume at a local business, and you get hired. That's not the way that it works anymore. These days are over. In fact, if you fill out a post on Indeed, according to Indeed, a lot of their job posts get hundreds, if not thousands of applications within the first several days. How do you stand out in a crowd like that? And on top of that, making matters worse, a lot of these applications are being filled out by AI agents and then being reviewed and managed and monitored by AI agents. I actually covered this in a video a few months ago. It's really shocking what's happening. It's not a human being applying for a job and then being reviewed and read by a human being. These are all AI bots that are doing all the hiring. Not even the hiring, but the actual applications itself, which is completely insane. You have to find a way, you have to find a tactic to get around that. You need a better, essentially, prospecting strategy. And this could start with generating a list of hiring companies from a business like Apollo, generating that list, find the leader, call, email the hiring managers, try to go direct to the source. Make sure you're following up. Make sure you have a follow-up email, have a spreadsheet so you know who you're connecting with. Heck, if you want to get fancy, you can use AI to generate a landing page or a follow-up list. Do you use AI to create spreadsheets and highlight and make spreadsheets brilliant? It is amazing. As someone who's worked with spreadsheets for years, I love using AI to generate spreadsheets. It is absolutely ridiculously phenomenal. Make sure you speak to the people at the company. Heck, send a custom video. This is why you would be a good fit. You got to find some ways to stand out. The reality, and in that video that I shared a moment ago, is that people that if you have a relationship with someone at the company, it 4x pluses your chance of actually getting hired. And I just want to give a special shout out to Course Careers today, because Course Careers really focuses on this factor. It's not just about getting you into a course and teaching you a new skill, it's about getting you hired. And I think that's really important. More on Course Careers in just a moment, because the reality is, you want to get hired, the first step is getting noticed. If you're out at the bar or you're at church and you're trying to meet a pretty girl, you can't just, first thing you got to do is make eye contact. So how do you get noticed? And some guys wear crazy hats and do things like that. You don't necessarily need to do that. You just need to have the right swag, the right approach, the right place. You need to know who your target audience is. All that stuff matters. Anyway, more on how Course Careers helps people like you get hired in just a moment. Because the reality is, there might be another problem, right? We talked about the positioning and the tactics, the outreach strategy, but you might have another problem, and that's the actual field itself. Because as subscribers to the channel know, AI is eating up and churning up positions all over the place, and especially in specific fields. Tech and IT in particular are getting hit really, really hard right now. We're seeing hundreds of thousands of layoffs over the past couple years. In fact, so far this year, in just Q1, we've had 52,000 layoffs in Q1 of 2026. Do you think that's going to slow down? My bet is no, because these companies are really focused on implementing AI. into their strategies. Now, again, if you're AI first and you're applying some of these tactics, there are opportunities, but you gotta be up on the latest tools and how they integrate. And again, you definitely wanna know someone. So how do you get to know someone? How do you meet the right people? Those are important questions. Additionally, marketing and content creation is another very, very saturated field. I mean, I get hit up every day by people that wanna work with me on various marketing projects and entry white collar jobs. Like golly, man, I've talked about this in the past. I don't even know if it makes sense to go to university or to college anymore. I mean, I'm paying hundreds of dollars every month to just put into a fund so when my kids are old enough, they can go to university. But what is the point? What is the point? You know, if you work with, if you take a couple courses or you work with a company like Course Careers, the reality is you're probably gonna be able to get hired a lot faster and without hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt or tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt. I mean, you don't get the college experience, you don't get the frat life, the sorority life, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, like that is kind of a fleeting thing, in my opinion. I don't know if you went to college and you were in a frat, if you like went to those college football games, how important is that to you? I mean, I went to FAU, I got a marketing degree there, and I went into a non-related field for the next 10 years of my life. Now I'm circling back to marketing, but again, I spent all this money on a college degree that really didn't pay off. They did help me get interviews, and I got some interviews, but I couldn't find anything that was really interesting to me. I think you really want to focus on like, what is the end result you want? If you want to get hired, you know, maybe just going and getting an expensive degree is not necessarily the thing to do. Maybe going out and trying the same thing you've been doing and getting the same result is not necessarily what you want to do. Because the reality, guys, is there is saturation in the market. If you're one of the 50,000 people in tech that just got laid off, you're competing against 49,999 other people in tech that are applying for probably the same job as you. And this is something we've really focused on recently. It's the problem that you solve. That is your value in the marketplace, because the reality, guys, is, you know, we're living in this world where the problems that you've solved in the past, probably not the problems you're going to be solving in the future. And I know some of you guys, some of the haters in the comments like to say things like, well, Mark, you're on YouTube and you do marketing and you better watch your back. Your job is in trouble too. And my response to that is, yeah, I know. It absolutely, I work on a computer. I do marketing, I do YouTube. I am using, but you know, the difference between you and me is I'm using AI every single day. I'm building up other skills. By the way, I'm gonna talk about this here in a moment. I actually am HVAC certified. I've worked in the HVAC field for a while as well. So I'm pretty good with my fingers. Smash the like button if you know what I'm talking about. In any event, you know, the problems we've solved in the past are not necessarily the problems that we're going to be solving in the future. We really, really need to be thinking about that. And again, this is one of the reasons why I partnered up with Course Careers in this video, is they have really one goal for the students in their programs, and that's to get them hired ASAP. And they focus on the key skills that are needed in order to get attention. I just really love that fact. Like, it's not just about selling you a course, it's about giving you the credentials, the necessary skills to get hired. And again, that approach might be repositioning the career that you're in. I think we all need to at least acknowledging that's a potential. And you know, I just find this quote interesting. This is from Monster career expert Vicky Salemi, and she says, quote, "The 2026 labor market is defined less by broad growth or decline and more by divergence. Hiring demand is concentrating in sectors tied to essential services, public investment, and specialized skills, while other areas continue to slow or undergo structural change." Guys, this is exactly what we've been talking about. The problems from the past are not the problems of the future. AI has completely changed the game. This is the year that AI agents really, really start to take over. And the guys that are learning how to use AI agents are gonna be especially powerful. And the guys that transition out of dying career fields and into career fields that matter are going to matter. And you know, I just feel really bad for all these kids coming out of college that can't find a career. It's absolutely insane. So what does this mean? Skill-based, credentialed, hands-on jobs are in very high demand. Auto, electronics, repair techs. High demand. I mean, we covered this a few weeks ago. I'll post a link to the video here where Ford CEO is like, we just don't have enough people. We can't find enough skilled labor to build our trucks, to build our cars. You got to go where the money is. I mean, I've seen guys in the electric field that are making $250,000 a year taking on these projects. We talk about data center investment, guys. Tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars are going into data centers. And the construction need is real. Heck, where I live here, they're building homes like crazy. The demand, it's a supply and demand thing. You know, it just is. Data analytics, logistics, supply chain management, all this stuff is super, super important right now. These are the types of jobs that matter. And the reality, guys, is that, you know, if you've been looking for a job and you can't find one, you probably feel lost. And I just want you to know that, you know, you're not alone. You don't need to take out a $100,000 college loan. That is not necessary. And frankly, you don't need to spend months getting ignored. And the reality is, you know, you just got to try something different. At a certain point, you got to try, you know, doing what they call the definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. At some point, you kind of need to think about trying something different. And if you've been stuck, if you're not sure what to do, go over and check out Course Careers. These are the guys that I partnered with on this video. They seem like great guys. They've been in business for over 6 years. They have tons and tons of courses for hot, in-demand careers. They are updating their courses regularly, so you make sure that you're up on the latest tech, the latest AI advances. You're not buying some textbook that was printed 3 years ago and is giving you irrelevant information. And again, the thing that I really love about them is their focus on getting you from start to finish quickly. You don't have a job, you're lost, we're gonna get you a job. That's their focus. And you could be, guys, if you started today, you could be certified in 4 to 12 weeks, and then finding and getting interviews immediately after that. And I think that's really important. By the way, when I got HVAC certified, I went to trade school for 7 months before I got an internship. If I would have started with Course Careers, I could have cut that in half or maybe even less and gotten my foot in the door. Really, really important. Not only that, is they have a business owner ecosystem. Business owners actually go to Course Careers and look at the guys that are finishing, and girls, and look at the guys and girls that are finishing courses and hiring them directly there. So they've got a great ecosystem they've built up over the last 6 years. And by the way, they've got free courses in AI, so you can get started on that. And if you do end up purchasing a course and starting their certification system, you get 14 days free. So if you try it and you flake out or you decide it's not for you, you can just cancel it. It doesn't cost you anything. The risk is so low, the upside is so high. And again, this is one of the reasons why I decided to connect with Course Careers. I like them, I like their vibe. I think you should, if you've been stuck, go check them out. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to get started and try it out. So if you are tired of applying into the void, if you're tired of being stuck, go to Course Careers. They're gonna show you exactly which industries are hiring. They're gonna get you certified. They're gonna give you the exact tactics to get hired. And click the link below. You start today, you get a discount for using my code, which I appreciate. But at the end of the day, it's not about me, it's about you. Go make it happen for yourself. You know, it's crazy out there. And by the way, it's only gonna get crazier. You think that the hiring freezes are going to stop? Do you think that the layoffs are gonna stop? Guys, it is only going to ramp up. The world is nuts right now. So positioning yourself and getting your footing now is important. You know, I think there's a lot of really smart people, especially in tech. They're gonna realize, like, there's just no jobs here in tech. We're gonna move into the trades. So you're gonna have a huge push of people in the trades. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, or at least rambling a bit. Go check out Course Careers. Appreciate them as a sponsor, and I appreciate you as a viewer, and I'll check you in the next video, boys. See ya, peace.